Gwen and Miles. Year 1. Chapter 2. Worry and the Cyber Electro. Miles and Gwen sat on the edge of one of the tallest buildings in Manhattan. "So, did Pete get back to you?" Gwen asked. "Not yet. I'm guessing he's still with Reed and Tony trying to figure out the whole who stole their tech and how they improved it type thing." Miles sighed. "Okay, what are you thinking?" Gwen asked, nudging him the arm. "I just wish we could do more, you know? It's summer, so school's out for a few weeks, and all we do is be heroes." "I know that's good and all, but it just feels kind of empty, you know?" Miles muttered. "Being a hero and risking your life? Miles, that is enough. Stop pulling yourself so short. Come on, you're Spider-Man, for crying out loud." Gwen said with a grin. "Yeah, okay, you're right," Miles said with a small smile. Gwen ran her hands through Miles' hair. She then leaned in and kissed him. "I love you, Morales," Gwen whispered. "Love you too," Miles said with a bigger grin. The romantic moment was interrupted as they watched the entirety of Manhattan black out, each building by building, all the electricity snapped out of every window. "That's not normal," Gwen stated. Both of them stood and removed their normal clothes, revealing their superhero suits underneath. They slipped on their gloves, masks, and Gwen pulled over a hood, and they both equipped on their web shooters. "With the power out of the whole city, it's going to start causing crash downs everywhere. Car crashes, loots, and all sorts of stuff," Ghost Spider muttered. "Yeah, we might need to divide and conquer," Spider-Man suggested. A sudden burst of electricity erupted from the power plant far off in the distance. "That might explain a few things," Spider-Man said. So Electro?" Spider-Man questioned. "Could be. Come on, let's go find out. Maybe someone there can help us with the power issue," Spider-Man stated. They both jumped off the building and started web-swinging towards the power plant. They both landed in front of the power plant and saw Electro, but he was all silver with a blue glass dome sat in the center of his chest, and it was filled with crackling electricity. "Great, another robot," Ghost Spider stated. "Yeah, it's absorbed all the electricity from the plant like some form of battery," Spider-Man stated. "Spider-Man and Ghost Spider detected. Must eliminate," the Electro robot stated. The Cyber Electro aimed both its hands, and from its palms, two streams of pure electricity erupted. Both heroes backflipped, dodging the attack. "It's basically Electro, so just be careful," Spider-Man said with a caring tone. Spider-Man shot several webs at Cyber Electro. The robot swerved to the right, dodging most of them, but the last one did manage to hit him right in the face. Ghost Spider shot two webs, which hit the robot in the torso. She yanked the robot out of the air, which slammed down on the ground. Ghost Spider leapt forward and slammed the robot in the face multiple times. She grabbed its head and kneed it in the face, then kneed it in the stomach. Cyber Electro released an energy pulse, which sent Ghost Spider flying back, and she crashed into one of the metal frames that built up the power plant structure. Spider-Man let out a growl of anger, then he web-zipped towards Cyber Electro as it ignited its thrusters and its feet, taking flight once again. Spider-Man dodged an electrical blast as he slid under the floating robot. He then shot a web at the cylinder that formed the thruster underneath Electro's feet. It sent a surge of bioelectricity through the web, which caused the thruster to spark and erupt into black smoke. Spider-Man landed on the floor safely as Cyber Electro flew around aimlessly as it could no longer gain balance with just one working thruster. A man opened the door to the console room. Is it over?" he called out as he hid behind the door. "Almost. Can you get the power back on?" Spider-Man asked. "Sure I can, but it'll take me a couple of minutes all by myself," the man called out. "Get on it. I'll keep the walking AAA battery busy," Spider-Man replied. The man gave Spider-Man a thumbs up in response, and then locked himself in the console room once more to work on the console. Ghost Spider woke up and climbed to her feet. She shook her head and ran over to Spider-Man to help. They both watched Cyber Electro fly around uncontrollably. It started blasting electricity everywhere randomly. "We gotta stop it before it does irreversible damage," Ghost Spider stated. "I got an idea. Me and Pete did something once to take down Kingpin. I attack high, you attack low," Spider-Man told her. "Lead the way, hot stuff," Ghost Spider nodded. Spider-Man jumped into the air, using his webs to pull himself even higher, overtowering the Cyber Electro. He then shot a web at Electro and pulled himself closer. Spider-Man then charged his fist with bioelectricity and slammed it into Cyber Electro as hard as he possibly could. The impact threw the robot down to the ground. Ghost Spider shot two webs and slungshot herself upward. She kicked the robot right in the face and grabbed the Cyber Electro by the foot and threw it into the ground. She landed on the ground next to it, and with a shot of web, she pulled a piece of loose metal pipe pipe and swung the pipe as it hit the robot who was trying to stand. She hit it several times before Cyber Electro grabbed onto the pipe and pulled Ghost Spider closer, then released a surge of electricity. Ghost Spider yelled out in pain as her suit started to singe all over and causing burn holes to form within her suit. Spider-Man landed on the ground behind Electro, who was stunned as the metal pipe acted as a transfer unit, making the electrical surge bounce between the robot and Ghost Spider, creating an infinite loop of electricity. Spider-Man grabbed onto the Cyber Electro by the head, and the electricity ripped through his hands, causing him to grunt in pain. He triggered his own bioelectricity into his palm, causing a negative to positive feedback, and then, with all his strength, he pushed his hands together and crushed the robot's head. The electricity finally cut off as the robot fell to the ground, now powerless. Its wrist opened up, revealing its power core, which was identical to the one they removed from the Cyber Rhino the day before. Spider-Man grabbed it, yanked it out of the robot, and then tucked it away. He then ran over to Ghost Spider, who had collapsed to the ground, her suit smoking. He dropped to one knee and very carefully removed her mask. Her skin was red and had patches of burn damage. Spider-Man hit his communicator. Pete, Gwen got hurt bad, Spider-Man cried out. He sat on the ground and scooped up the unconscious Gwen as he held her tight as he waited for help to arrive. Miles sat in the hospital ward in the Baxter building. Reed Richards allowed Gwen to recover in a safe location. Reed and Pete walked up to Miles as he sat there bouncing one leg up and down impatiently as he clocked them walking up to him as he stood. "How is she?" Miles asked. "She was hurt pretty bad. I got under a lot of strong medication. Stuff that will clear up her system and help her organs recover. After that, she should make a full recovery once her healing factor kicks in. You Spider guys seem to have a good one, thankfully," Reed explained. "Thanks, Reed. I really appreciate it," Miles muttered awkwardly. "No problem, Miles. I got you," Reed nodded. He saw the race of thoughts going through Miles' mind. It was etched all over his face. He looked over to Pete, who gave him a silent nod to let him be a mentor for just a moment, to give some wise words for giving him the type of conversation he'd need. He placed his hands on Miles' shoulder reassuringly, then left them two to it. Miles sat back down and Pete sat next to him. "You did good, Miles. I'm glad you called me," Pete stated. "She got hurt, man. I could have done better," Miles muttered. "Miles, do you know how many times MJ has had to sew me back up? How many times she had to wait until I recovered, not knowing if she'd ever get to talk to me again?" Spider-Man sighed. "I don't know, a dozen, I guess," Miles replied. "Try a couple of 100. Gwen is a tough cookie. She has guts and the drive. That's why I was okay with you two taking over for me for these last few months. She got this. Reed gave her the all clear. You just need time to do its thing. Besides, whilst we wait, we can work," Pete said as he stood. "Huh?" Miles asked, looking at him confused. "Worst thing to do is sitting here beating yourself up about it, right? We got 2 of these power cores now. We can start seeing if we can find an origin of creation, or maybe pin the next location. Keeps you busy. All Gwen needs is time, and you need to keep your mind occupied, so why not?" Pete said. Miles stood and let out a sigh. "Sure. Thanks, Pete," Miles nodded. "Anytime, man. Come on," Pete said with a small smile. Then they both left the hospital ward and headed for the laboratory.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by 3 cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Tai Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channel, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.